My name's Melissa Avera, and I love being a realtor. I specialize in real estate in the DFW and surrounding areas, and I also grew up here, so I'm very familiar with the Metroplex. Buying or selling a home can be an extremely stressful task, so I really try to go the extra mile to take that stress out of my clients' hands.
This is Going the Extra Mile. Now, from Friedo Nation Productions in the Caddo Office Reimagined Studios, here's Melissa.
Thanks, Chris. Today, I'm in the studio and want to talk to you about a couple of things. Mainly, really, commit to your dreams. People, I think, have all these, wild, crazy dreams or goals, and it's, to me, a tragedy if you keep them to yourself, right? I used to always keep them to myself. And then I realized, man, if I actually share what I want to accomplish or what I'm trying to do with the people I'm closest with who love and support me, they're just going to help me get there because it's important to them. They want me to succeed or check that off the bucket list or whatever it is, and vice versa. And that's why you have a tribe. You have your people, whether it's your best friend, whether it's your parents, your coach, your mentor, all of it. For me, any aspect of life that you want to improve, get a coach, right, in that area. We've talked about that before, but to committing to your dreams, every year I do, and I've said this before, and it sounds super cheesy, but it works for me. At the end of the year, I do a vision board, and I post that everywhere. It's hanging in my office. It's on my bathroom mirror. It's in my planner. It's in my phone. And I look at it every day. And the reason I do that is those are my dreams. They're my bucket list dreams. They're my goals. And if I'm not reminded and seeing them every day, then how am I ever going to get there? Right? And it's so people make this list of I want to climb Mount Everest or whatever their crazy dream is or goal. And they write it down, but they don't ever take the next steps on, okay, well, how am I going to do this? Right? So it's one thing, that's step one to me is write it down, get it on paper, and then you have to commit to it. It's kind of the power of a made up mind. There's no plan B. I'm only doing it this way, and I'm going to get there. And for me, I kind of look at it as, I'll just break it down into how I do it. I look at what do I need to improve in my life, and then developing it. How am I going to develop or put those habits or skills in place? I need to train to get there. When am I going to train and how to get there? You're always going to need motivation. So, most people themselves can't just continuously motivate themselves. They need people. So who do I want to help me in my corner to keep me motivated? And then who's going to coach me on it? And then what inspiration do I have, right? I want to be an inspiration to myself, but yet I want to inspire others. So I think it's all of that kind of combined. And if you actually take the time to write those things down and figure it out, you're going to have a much easier time checking the stuff off the bucket list or your goal list. So, do you have, Mark, a goal or a bucket list item that...
You're about to get me really emotional here because literally we're recording this on a Tuesday. This morning, I woke up 5 o'clock. And I was laying in bed, and I do a lot of the things that you, if you listen to Melissa's podcast, Going the Extra Mile, I have a lot of the same habits you do. My day is completely planned out. Before I go to sleep at night, I look at what's coming up tomorrow, and I don't want to go to sleep. I want tomorrow to come. When I wake up, I double check that calendar, and this morning I woke up, and I knew you were coming in, and I saw your name on the calendar, and I'm not exaggerating this. This is why I might get emotional. What we're doing right now is a dream. And I actually had it typed up, a Facebook post this morning, laying in bed, the me time, before I wake up and get really started. And I was thinking about how this CoachCast network has really been a dream of mine even before I knew it was a dream.
That's awesome.
I've always wanted to do something that would help others, inspire others, motivate others. I've always been fascinated with coaches, sports coaches, life coaches, business coaches.
You've been in that industry, so you've seen it.
And this morning I had it all composed, a Facebook post thanking you specifically for helping this come true, because it's going to get much bigger, because I'm fully committed to this dream, and it's a dream that's become reality. And that's saying a lot from someone who's had, I don't want to sound cocky or unappreciative. I've had a great life. I've accomplished a lot of what people would think were dreams.
Absolutely, you have.
Especially sports fans.
Yeah.
But this is the dream that I've had, like I said, since before I even knew it was a dream. And I've found a way to make it happen, and I'm fully committed to it. So.
Well, I love that. Thank you for saying that, because that just makes my heart happy to be able to be part of something, and for you to want me to be part of something that is a dream for you. Like that, I don't take that lightly.
Well, you
That's
fit
awesome.
perfectly.
That's really cool. And I just think, again, people, they're better together. Like I noticed once I started sharing my goals and aspirations with people who lift me up and people who are my biggest cheerleaders, everything changed, and I do the same thing for them. It's like, I know this person has this dream, and you know what? I will kill myself to see them achieve it, because I know how important it is. And just to be part of, like you said, it's emotional. Like, doing some of these things, or building a successful business, or raising kids, successful kids. I mean, life's hard. Life is really hard. So if you get the right people in your corner that just build you up, I mean, there's so much negativity and haters and all the stuff out there. And honestly, like going back to what you said, I mean, I never would think of myself as a coach. I mean, I've never coached anything. I'm in coaching. I've always, tried to have a coach because I want to improve. But then I realized, like, I'm a coachable person, right? And I've learned a lot along the way with the different coaches I've had in different aspects of life. And if I see somebody else struggling, or I know that a goal of theirs is to lose 40 pounds. Like my best friend, she said, I want to lose 40 pounds before I turn 40. And I was like, you can do that. You 100% can do that. But it's all up here in your head. Like, you have to be committed. Like, there's no other way, right? Like, I'm just going to do it. And yeah, you might have to change your habits. And for her, it's little things. Like, she called me last week and she was ecstatic. She's like, oh my God, I lost 8 pounds in a week. And I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot. And I'm like, what did you do? Well, I just didn't eat as much. I got back, I started walking. I drank less alcohol. But she still had it, did all the things she wanted to do, just less of it.
It is amazing that if you do the small stuff, like you say, it feels like it's falling in your lap.
Yeah.
And I'll go back, like my radio career. Even today, I look back on it and I think, that job fell in my lap. I didn't work for that job. It came to me. But then you stop and you kind of have to slap yourself in the face and realize, well, wait.
You worked for it.
It didn't fall in my lap. I made sure that I was in a position to be at the radio station every day, even if I wasn't getting paid.
Yeah.
So that I could be there when something came about, when there was an opportunity.
Absolutely.
But when you're working towards your dream, it doesn't really feel like work.
No, and I think that's exactly it. If it's something you're really passionate about and that you love, it shouldn't feel like work. I mean, there's a lot of things I'm passionate about and love, and I know it's work, and it's really hard work, but I love it. So other people look at me like, why do you do that? Why do you put in all those hours here? Why do you train so hard at the gym? Like, what are you training for? And I'm kind of like, I do it because I just want to be ready. I just always want to be game day ready. I mean, so if I wake up and I decide like, oh, today's the day I want to go do a triathlon or whatever it is I want to do, and I'm a weirdo like that I know I'm going to go do it. And I'm probably not going to injure myself because I put in all this work these other times, and I know I can do this longer stretch of activity, but it's all in my head, right? I just got to keep going. You just got to push through. It's amazing how, I mean, to me, like, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever does.
Oh, without a doubt.
And like, I have learned so much more from my failures in life. And I was just having a conversation last week with somebody in my industry who was struggling, and they were just ready to like throw in the towel. Like, I think I just don't want to do this anymore. And it was just one or two things that just beat them down, that just happened where it just pissed them off, kind of ruined their day. And I'm like, you got to get back to basics, right? Like, remember why you started and then just go,
I'm very fortunate. Literally in the last month, I'm producing the Lake Highlands High School football podcast.
Nice.
With their head coach, Lonnie Jordan, who I have such a man crush on right now. He's just awesome. He's a high school football coach, and he's got a great attitude. He's a coach. And he has lost 2 regular season games in the previous 2 years. He just, last week, lost his 2nd game in a row this season. So in 2 weeks, he's matched 2 years worth of losses. And last night, when we recorded his episode, he said, you know what? My team this year is going to learn so much more than those previous 2 teams.
Yeah.
Because we have adversity now. And we have to learn to play through adversity. And we have to learn to pick ourselves back up. The teams I had before, we didn't have to learn that.
Yeah.
So this team is in great shape. And he wasn't BSing. He was really, obviously he didn't want to lose 2 games
Well, sure.
in a row, but he's like, this team's going to learn a lot. Because you do learn from those failures if you're willing to.
Well, absolutely. And I think that's the key. You have to be willing to learn. Like, sure, you might get butthurt or upset that it didn't go your way. But again, it all goes back to your mindset. Like, I'll have in my business, like maybe a deal goes sideways or, something happens, and I could get so irritated and frustrated and just flat out pissed off. But I try, like, when I start to enter that phase, I literally stop myself as like I'm slapping myself across the face and just say, nope, not today. Like, how can I turn this really crappy situation into something good? What good can I get out of this? And I think when you're in the moment, right, it's hard, right? And that can be any aspect of life. Like, you lose a loved one, or somebody gets a bad diagnosis, or you lose a job that could have been a game changer for you, whatever it is. But it's just like, instead of having a pity party for yourself, if you just think, okay, this sucks right now, but I know there's something positive that will come of this. I might not be able to see it now, but if you have that attitude, like, I look back at all the stuff now that has happened to me throughout my life, and I've had a lot of great things happen. I've had a lot of really crappy things happen. And I try to look at the crappy things and see now, like, wow, how far have I come from that? Because somebody told me I would never be able to do this, or, I'm like, it kind of goes back to like, I just make up my mind. And my husband always, I think sometimes he gets really irritated with me about this, but I think at the same point, he loves it about me. he's like, once you make up your mind, there's no changing it. And I mean, that is just part of me. Like, I have a goal, or I'm going to do something and I'm doing it this way. I will die doing it. Like, it's just like a hill I'm willing to die on. I'm so passionate about it that it's just going to happen. And I think people need to have more of that in their life, because if you're not stepping outside of your comfort zone, like, you're just staying stuck in my, and I want to go nowhere but up. I don't want to stay the same. Like, I want to continue to grow. And for some people, they're so like, maybe money hungry or money motivated. And for me, sure, I mean, I need money, right, to live and pay my stuff. But it's just like, I'm more motivated. I feed off people. Like, that's what gives me energy, right? Like, I like to be around people. It's like, people have no idea, like you have no idea how much you inspire and motivate me. I mean, just doing.
That means a ton.
Yeah. I mean, doing this stuff, it's like, you don't know the impact, I don't think, so I'm going to tell you, that you've had on my life. We haven't really known each other that long. I can only imagine if we've known each other 20 years or something, but it's just like, you're one of those people that I know I'll have in my life for the rest of my life. And it's exciting to know, like, when you meet the people that you just gel with and want to help you succeed and achieve your dreams, it's like, damn, it gives me something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And I think that's what everybody needs, is you get so caught up in the mundane task of just the daily grind of doing stuff. It's like, give yourself something to look forward to.
That's great advice, because you may not be in a position, you may have other responsibilities where you can't devote 24/7
right
to your dream, but don't give it up.
Right. Carve out time for it. If it's a dream and it's that important, again, put it on your schedule. Make time for it every day, or whatever that dream looks like. You might not be able to do it every day, but like, something I started implementing really just this last month, and I'm shocked, absolutely shocked at how much of a difference it's made in my life. And I think I will always do it as long as I have the ability and means to. And that's, I work in an industry where it's 24/7 all the time. People want you to be on. I don't have a corporate America job where I get weekends off or have like set days. And I realized, I need a day once a week to just have time to myself, to decompress, to catch up on stuff at the house, whatever it is I want to do or I need to do, right? And so for any of you guys that kind of follow me on Facebook, I try to put something motivational out every morning. And I do that for it's not just for everybody else. I do it for myself. Like, whatever I'm putting out there that day, that's how I'm living my life that day. That's a truest statement. And Wednesdays, I call it Wellness Wednesday. And so that is what I have made that day. Like, I start my day, I go to the gym, I do my workout, and then I do my absolute best to shut down any kind of work by about 12 o'clock. And then I'm giving that afternoon to myself as a wellness day. I go treat myself to a massage. I go sit in a sauna. I go do whatever it is I want to do. If I want to go play a round of golf and just, and it's amazing. And for me, Wednesday, I'm starting to notice, is a better day to do that, because weekends are normally busy. Leading up to the weekend's busy. And then Monday, Tuesday is a lot of follow-up from the weekend. So kind of sometimes smack dab in the middle, I can get a half day or a whole day if I schedule it. And again, setting that boundary, like, this is my day to myself or with my family. And man, it's done so much for me personally, but it's been great for my business. My business has grown in 2 weeks from me doing that. Right? Because I'm giving myself time to rest and renew and recover and come back better. So I'm trying to avoid, the burnout by building in like recovery days, essentially, from work and physical activity.
That's great. You've seen the results that quickly.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty motivating because most things you don't see results that quickly. But when you do, I'm like, I'm going to keep this going, So again, it doesn't take much. The other thing I think that is huge is people need to stop believing in circumstances and just do it. Like I've had clients in the past who say they're selling their house, right? And they're so worried. Like normally a buyer has a home inspection, and if there's repairs or something that need to be done, it's negotiated. Well, my clients just, their minds go nuts. They're like, well, what if this pops up on the inspection? And what if? And they're just creating all these circumstances and like freaking themselves out about something that we don't even know is going to happen. And it's just like putting all this negative mindset in. And they call me all like wound up tight about it. And I'm like, you know what? They haven't even had the home inspection. Let's just wait and see what happens. And we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Like, don't lose sleep over there might be a plumbing issue. At the end of the day, that won't probably be that big of a deal. But it's like people just create circumstances. Well, if I go work out, then I'm going to be sore and I'm not going to be able to do this. And, you're just talking yourself out of it but it's amazing how many people have that. Not that it's a negative mindset, but it's just, to me, that would be debilitating to me if I constantly thought that way. Because I try to do the complete opposite. Sure, I'm in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, that might happen, but if it does, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, don't let it defeat you.
Right. It's like, I guess the easiest way to say is I feel like a lot of people they live in fear. And especially now.
Yeah.
Especially now, like afraid to travel, afraid to whatever. It's like, what is the worst thing that can happen? When I catch myself being afraid or thinking I can't do something, like this sounds really stupid, but one of my goals I bought this big, I don't even know what you call it, but it's for practicing box jumps, right? And one side's 20 inches, one side's 24, one side's 30. And I can dominate the 20 and the 24 all day. And I know I can do the 30, right? And the reason I bought this is because at the gym, they have this big, intimidating, like metal box. And I'm like, okay, if I jump and I miss, I'm going to hurt myself because I'm going to flat out fall on metal. It intimidates the hell out of me. So I buy a big foam one. And if I bite it, I'm not going to hurt myself, right? So it's just kind of like take the fear out of the things you can take the fear out of and just go for it. Like, what do you have to lose, right?
I've got one like that, ice skating. And when I worked at the radio station, we had a charity hockey game, and I had never ice skated before. And I'm 38 years
I
old.
suck at ice skating.
And I get on skates, but I'm fully padded up. And once I fell the first time and realized there's no way I'm getting hurt with these pads, man, I loved it.
Well, maybe that's what I should do. Pad up.
Once I knew I was protected, I could just let loose.
Yeah.
No, I felt like I was going 80 miles an hour. But when you see the video, I'm like a turtle. But man, I had a blast.
That was like me when I skied for the first time. I'm just like on the bunny slopes. And of course I got a coach because I had no idea what I was doing. But it was like the worst conditions ever. I was literally in the middle of a blizzard. And I was so afraid I was just going to fly down the mountain and not be able to stop and just crash into something. And I'm coming down the hill or the mountain, whatever, and I just kept hearing my coach go, herringbone, like turn your skis in to like stop. And then I would just like, I can't. And I would just flop over. Like, it's like learning how to fall properly. Like, I was just scared. But it's like anything. The first time you do anything like that, I think it is scary because it's something it's unknown. It's something you've never done. Like, I learned how to surf for the first time in the Pacific Northwest. And I'm like, I think to myself, why do I do this to myself? Probably the easiest place would be like Southern California where the waters are warm, maybe less sharks. But no, I go to the cold water where you got to completely like wear the bodysuit. There's sharks, whatever. And the waves are huge. It's brutal. Like you're just getting smashed in the face. I'm like, why would anybody want to do this? But it's like once you get up and once I caught the first one, I was like, wow, this is so awesome. And ever since, like, I just have a fascination with it. Not so much, I enjoy doing it, but I love to watch it. Mm-hmm. You know, because it's like I live in Dallas, right? So it's not something I get to practice or can just grab a board and go to the ocean in 5 minutes. So it's like I'll do it recreationally for fun. But like when I go to the West Coast, I'm like, I could sit there all day and just watch people because it's cool watching them bite it and get better and figure it out, right? They're like, it's constant learning.
I kind of go a little bit of the opposite way from what you just described. When I'm in a situation like that, like surfing, which I don't do and will never do. But my thought process would be, okay, what am I scared of?
Right.
Scared of getting hurt. I'm scared of a shark attack. Okay. There's going to be hundreds of thousands of people who get into ocean waters today. Maybe millions around the world. If there's one shark attack, that's going to be shocking. It's going to make the news. What are the odds it's going to be me?
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
I just watched these people surf in front of me. How many of them broke their legs? How many of them drowned? I'm going to be okay. Yeah. Even if the worst happens, I think my chances are okay.
I mean, I look at my daughter's mindset, and I think this is a great example because I think to myself, at what point in age does the mindset really shift? So my daughter's thing, most nights, she wants to cuddle and watch a show. And sometimes I can only tolerate so much Disney or whatever. So I'm like, we're going to watch something Mom wants to watch too, right? So one night, she actually clicked on this movie, and it was about Bethany Hamilton, who's a pro surfer who got her arm bit off.
Had her on a podcast before.
Really?
Yes.
Awesome. And so we're watching the whole movie, and she's like, Mommy, did that shark just bite off her arm? And I'm like, yeah. And it showed like all the struggles she went through. And right after the movie was over, my daughter looked at me and she goes, Mom, I want to be a surfer girl. And she said, will you take me to go surfing? I want to get in the ocean. And I said, sure. And she goes, but there's sharks in there. So you got to be careful. And I said, that's right. You know, thinking a 4-year-old, seeing that, probably not the best movie for a 4-year-old, or I might traumatize her for life. But she had the mindset of, wow, that looks like fun. That could happen to anybody, but I still want to do it. Right? And I think that's what we all need. Because like you just said, I think my biggest fear is exactly what you just said, getting hurt. Because I've been hurt. Bad. And it sucks. And I never want to be in that space again. But if you live with that mentality, like you're just afraid to not because this might happen, you're not living.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's like live for the day. That's all we got.
Yep.
You know? So just go enjoy it. Don't let fear hold you back.
If you have questions about buying, selling, renting, or investing, don't go at it alone. Reach out to Melissa at 214-280-4317 or melissa@melissamovesdfw.com. You can find out more about the Melissa Avera Realty Group at TVG by visiting melissamovesdfw.com. Thank you for listening to Going the Extra Mile.